Welcome to this exciting episode of the Real Estate Ballers Show. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing a powerful couple out of Seattle. Paul and Tanice Myers have been in real estate for 20 years, and they are truly passionate about real estate and helping people. So join us on this journey of 1,000 houses bought. Okay, so we got Tanice and Paul in the house, and I'm gonna let them do a quick introductions to you, the audience. So Tanice and Paul, welcome to the Real Estate Ballers Show. Take it away.
Awesome, thanks, V. That's awesome. I know we've been having the fortunate opportunity to be able to work with you over the last 5 years with Homevestors. So this is an honor to be on your podcast. Thank you very much. Okay, so Paul and Tanice Myers.
Yep.
We have been in the real estate investing business for 20 years, and for the last 5, we have been with Homevestors. I actually have a corporate technology background. Paul has an engineering background, and together we are an awesome husband and wife team. We get to go out and talk with people that have found themselves, a lot of times it's just an ugly situation, and they're looking for that lifeline, and that allows us to come in and talk with them to figure out if we're able to be an option for them to buy their house. And what else want to add?
We actually have 2 franchises with Homevestors. We actually live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and we have one in Spokane here in covers North Idaho. We have a franchise in Seattle, Washington too. That's actually where we started, in Seattle, Washington.
I can tell you, since we started the journey with Homevestors, we now have rental portfolios in multiple states. We have short-term and long-term rentals. And over the last 20 years, I can say, and with the growth through Homevestors as well, we've done probably close to 1,000 properties between assignments, wholesales, buys, sales, rentals.
In my past, prior to Homevestors, too.
A little over 20 years. Probably close to 1,000 different doors that we've done over those 20 years. So, the stories are incredible. The relationships that we build with people along the way have been incredible as well. So it's been exciting.
Wow, I actually did not realize that you guys have been in real estate for 20 years because I only met you about 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And how time flies. Amazing. 1,000 properties and 20 years in the business.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to congratulate you for that.
I'm growing.
Not many people make past that point, right?
It's been fun, though, I tell you.
It took time.
Yeah.
What market are you guys in?
So we're in the Seattle market and Spokane and North Idaho. So we basically cover all the entire state of Washington and all of North Idaho.
Seattle market. Tell us about it when COVID first hit, because I knew a lot of people were running out of Seattle then, but you guys didn't run, you guys stayed.
We started it's in 2002. We started buying rentals. So we kind of survived through the 2008 shutdown, the slowdown, everything as well. And the COVID thing was not that too bad in Seattle as far as house sales. In fact, house sales took off in Seattle during the pandemic. So everything sold even better during the pandemic. So which was just kind of odd. And Seattle itself has always been isolated from a lot of major economic downturns. Seattle's always been isolated. The market, even in 2008, didn't change as bad as other parts of the country. So it's always been isolated. So COVID really didn't do much to us besides scare us a little bit as far as, oh no, how do we buy? We started realizing that everything we buy would sell over list immediately. I mean, we had appreciation gains of 20-30% of houses. There was investors buying houses and doing nothing to it, sitting on it for 6 months and making $60,000 to $100,000 more. Not doing anything to the house. That's how crazy short supply houses are in Seattle.
So you guys started 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Were you then full-time? One of you were full-time or both of you were part-time?
No, so we bought our first house in 1999 and we just got married. And a couple years after we decided to buy a rental house where all our friends were out buying boats and stuff, we decided to buy a second house. So we bought a rental house and that was passive income started then. Yeah. And kind of got the bug of real estate investing. So we did that. We kept it all the way up till, I think, 2010. We started buying more rentals again. And that's at the same time I got a real estate broker's license in Washington. So I was working for an engineering firm. I was basically their business development, senior estimator and inspector. So I did that all up to 2013 before I quit. And the reason I did is because back then we were buying bank-owned houses off the market. I was rehabbing them. I had my own crews. It was fun. It was easy. So that's when I started full-time doing it and not having a W-2 job.
Yeah.
That's when it really started. And I kept kept advancing. We did multiple projects. I did projects with other investors. I helped them through the process. I'd list them back. I would fix them up anywhere. I mean, we did hundreds of houses.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until about 2016 or 17, as you know, market really was improving, so it's hard to get leads. You know, the auctions were out, bank loans were kind of gone. So that's when I started finding HomeBusters. Actually, I knew a HomeBuster franchise in Seattle. He's no longer with HomeBusters. However, I listed his house for him. So I saw the house when he bought it, how much he bought it for. I'm like, how did you get this? So that's when I got to get hooked on the lead source of HomeBusters. So we just kept building it from there.
Yeah. Meanwhile, with wings going, go, baby, go.
Yep.
You got this, you know. And on the real estate side of things, and I'm over in the corp tech world, and Paul got to a point when we joined HomeBusters, we had to make that business decision and also a family decision. Do I retire and step away from that world of corporate technology sales, or do I and come help build a business, or do we hire someone to help grow the business? And we ended up making that family decision. It was a tough decision. It was a scary decision to walk away from Microsoft, who I was with for 10 years at that point.
Mm-hmm.
All the family benefits. You know, that's a tough conversation to have, but so glad we did it. It was empowering.
Yeah, that can be scary for a lot of people. Like, I mean, myself, I've been independent person for a long time. So that, and plus I'm fairly healthy. So that's never been a concern for me, that healthcare side of things. But I can see for a lot of people, it can be very scary to make that decision. So you became the business first official employees, owner, or co-owners, you say?
Yeah, business partners. There you go.
So at what point did you guys decide to bring in a first employee?
Yep. So that would have been our buyer in Seattle.
Yeah.
And that was within 6 months of our first franchise with HomeBusters.
What made you decide to do that?
It made sense at the time. I mean, frankly, Seattle is a very big market, and there's a lot of travel. It's a lot of counties, and there's a lot of traffic, and it's a lot of, we realized we live way up north of Seattle, so we just couldn't service it as well. Mm-hmm. And it was getting to a point where if I had to go out on all bike calls and spend 3 to 6 hours of traffic, I couldn't do anything else. So, as you know, in this real estate investing world, a lot of people, they're a one-man show, but I believe that you can only do so much. One person can only do so much. So if you let loose a little bit of the reins, let other people help you, you can do more and make more money doing that. Because one person or two people doing it, you can't get tapped out. There's only so many bills you can pay and things you can organize and be in front of a computer and drive and commute. You just can't do it. So we realized pretty quick, in order to grow, we needed somebody to take some of the responsibility off of our shoulders so that they can help build our business, so we can focus on the back end of the business, how to fix the houses better, how to better processes, better systems, things like that. Yeah. I think the business owners should be doing versus out there actually doing the basic stuff, right?
So you recognize that importance of having release that control that you want to have, right, and hand it over to someone else.
This episode is brought to you by Buzz Vacation Rentals, a premier property management company in Houston and Galveston. Give Buzz a call today if you need help in managing your short-term and vacation rental properties at 281-549-8432 or visit their website at buzzvacationsrentals.com. Now back to the Real Estate Baller Show.
Yeah, give up some responsibility. Let someone else do it. Otherwise, you're capped out. You just can't. And I know we help a lot of other HomeBuster franchisees, and some of them have the same thing. They like to do the remodel themselves. They like to, buy and do all that. But you can't remodel a house, take buy calls, go sit in traffic, go home, find financing, pay bills, deal with the problems. Pretty soon you burn yourself out. So we didn't want to do that.
No.
Like you said earlier, you can't do it all.
That's right.
No, people try.
Balance. We wanted that work-life. That was another reason why we left the corporate technology world or the W-2 world, right, to help find that balance within ourselves and even the team itself too. So Seattle, we have a full-time buyer out there. We use real estate broker Janae as well for all of our listings. She also helps with the project management as well. Mm-hmm. Here in the Spokane and North Idaho area, we have she likes the title relationship manager because she's out there building relationships with sellers, but she's our buyer. And then we have an office manager. We actually have a brick and mortar office, a retail brick and mortar office here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So again, you can be your own one-man shop, or you can grow it as big as you want to. That's what I love about it.
So how many people are in your operation today beside you two?
4. 4 really full, that's the core. And then from there we go out.
Are they all local? Do they have to show up to the office every day?
No, our office manager primarily, we need someone here at the office because people walk in all the time.
Yeah.
But our buyer, we want her out in the field, here and also in Seattle. Our Seattle gal, she works out of her house. And when the phone rings, she'll book the appointments and go out and make it happen.
Yep. And we commute back and forth quite a bit. So
Yep.
we're over in Seattle at least once or twice a month.
So let's change the pace a little bit. Look back at your past 20 years. At what point in your business that you would identify this as, this is my turning point?
Was it joining Homevestors?
No, I think it was definitely when we opened this franchise here.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that Denise and I made a switch. We actually physically moved ourselves to Idaho from Seattle. So that was a turning point. We opened this office over here and actually had a brick and mortar office. Before we always had an office in our house, and we had a separate space for it, which was nice, but really became more like an official business once you have an actual storefront. You actually have a presence, and actually have a presence in the community and the Chamber of Commerce and things like that. That's kind of a big changer for us too. Definitely made it feel less like a hobby and definitely more like a business.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I think that connection with the local community, that was a big turning point for both of us, and just the fact that that's still an opportunity for individuals and businesses in the United States, I think is just it feels good. It feels right, So that was really neat. And we continue to do that.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode so far, do hit that like and subscribe button now so that we can keep giving you tips on real estate investing. That's great. So your turning point is when you actually got a brick and mortar business location.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes you feel like you validated as a business owner.
Yeah.
And I don't think we realized the full scope of that until we actually, got into the office and put the signs up. And the other piece too that we're realizing is by having that brick and mortar, there's still a perception out there in the community. They don't understand what we really do and how we really work. And so it's given us that opportunity in the platform on a broader scale to go out and talk with the community or have them come and talk with us on a very easy, neutral scenario. Because it is interesting, the education level, at least out here in the Pacific Northwest and the Inland Northwest, is still needed. So there's still some room and opportunity to share what we do and how we do it.
Yep.
All right, here, let's get into the couple thing. All right, I'm sure you guys are lovely and you love each other, but I'm sure you have disagreement.
From time to time.
When that happens, who really set the foot down and say, this is the way we're going to do it?
You.
Well, I think there's variables there.
That's what it is.
We've been married now for 23 years. I think for Paul and I, there's moments in a scenario where we're trying to get a point across, or we're not agreeing on something, but I think we've learned how to use our words and communicate. But I think tone is the other one too. I can tell by his tone, and he can tell by my tone in a scenario who's going to really win that conversation. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. Depends on what it is, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty consistent on most everything, usually.
The other fun thing that we've done over the last 5 years, V, you'll appreciate this, is Ken Chanel's 4 Strengths profile.
Yeah.
So when we first filled that out, I'm like, this is the stupidest thing. It frustrated me. I didn't like any of the answer options that I had, right? But we did it. And today, what we've done is Paul and I have sat down and done a 4 Strengths profile together with Ken Chanel. So we did an hour-long call with him, and he broke down. And I'm sitting here going, Ken, have you been in our relationship for the last 23 years? Like, how are you identifying these little pieces and parts about us? So it helped us bridge that. We've done that with our daughter as well. We've also done that with each one of our team members. And as a way to really understand how they work and operate so that we can fully support them, and vice versa, so they can also understand, okay, Tanice just got triggered off of something. So what was that? How can I help support her? And no, it was nothing personal. That's just a trigger that happened in this scenario or whatever, right? But so we've used Ken Chanel's 4 Strengths profile quite a bit over the last 5 years to help, again, I think with the communication level. The other big thing that we discovered early on, and we've stuck to this, is know your strengths in the relationship. Paul's strengths is on the construction side of things, and my strength's more on the sales and marketing side of things. So we've really supported each other in those strengths within the business as well. When it comes to construction, it's funny, we'll go out to a job and people are asking me questions. I'm like, that's not me. You go talk to him. He's this is his world, it's his decision. So go there. And so we really support each other quite heavily in that area as well.
I agree.
Earlier, you had said you guys use the 4-strength profile. Now, some of our listeners are not home investors, and obviously they don't have access to the 4-strength profile. But I do agree with you that every business, every operation should use a form of a personality test to understand more about who they're bringing on.
Yeah.
And for us, we use a lot of the DISC tests, and I know the DISC a little bit better than I do know the 4-strength.
Yeah,
there's lots of them out there.
There are lots of them out there. We've really leveraged Ken Chanel in that journey for us because he's been readily available, and he was the creator of, or I think he helped build that particular 4-strength. So what we've done is I can, when I get when we hired our office manager, we had her fill out a 4-strengths. I sent it over to Ken. I said, just based on her profile, do you believe she's going to be a good fit in this role? And I'm part of the team, and gave all the feedback, and that helped us make that other business decision to bring her on too. So there's a whole process behind that.
Totally agree with you, and I cannot tell you how many times I said I should have just trust that profile, instead of trusting my gut.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is next for you on this journey?
What's next, love?
Let's keep growing.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really an end or anything. There's no, we're retiring or anything. We just keep growing and keep having fun.
Yeah.
Keep doing this and get more properties and try to get some more rentals on a different market, probably.
Yeah, we're looking to grow. So we are also, so with Home Investors V, this, there are development agents, and Paul and I are development agents for, the Northwest area here, Washington, Idaho as well. So we are looking to actively grow. So along with us, working with our 2 franchises to grow that, we also get to help onboard, support, mentor, coach new franchise owners as they come into the territories as well. So Paul and I get to travel a lot. We're all over Idaho State, all over Washington. We've even gone into Montana, Wyoming as well. So that's been fun for us, right? We get to meet with new investors. What are you doing? How are you doing it? Are you looking for these types of things? If you are, great. It's a fit. If it's not, that's okay too. That'll be right for the particular people coming in that are wanting to do what we do.
Yeah.
And not everyone wants to go sit in a house and do that kind of stuff. So it just depends upon what people want to do, but we are enjoying that piece of it. So that's also on our horizon, is growing that and having that on a larger scale, as well as we don't have any sites to stop buying. So
yeah, especially grow Idaho, it's very unpopulated with home investors.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for growth.
Yeah. So
That's awesome. That's very awesome. What advice do you have for your I'm not going to say young, but new people, new investor coming into the playground?
Right now I'm seeing so much, especially through social, in terms of coaches and mentors. I'm seeing a ton of that. And people are spending a lot of money on those types of things. So if I was to give some advice to people, is do your homework, figure out what you really want to do. If you're looking for that one-off coach or mentor, that's the right path for you, then great. But if you're looking for something that's truly like a business in a box in terms of real estate and investing, the full thing that includes mentors and coaches, not only locally but nationally, then you need to look at more of an actual business model and not just a coach or mentor. So whether you're starting out or you're seasoned or whatnot, really take that time to do the research, because there's a lot of information sitting out there in terms of that, and it can get overwhelming. So that's my 2 cents. What do you think?
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. I think people have to be patient. They have to realize that investing in real estate is not super. It's not, at the end of the day, it's not super easy to do. There's always pitfalls, and everyone ends up losing here and there, but they learn lessons, and so you have to be willing to put forth the effort to do it and work hard. I mean, it's not. If it was easy, everyone would do what we do. And it has its challenges like anything, but you work through it. A good support network really helps.
yeah.
All right. Well, last 2 questions. What is the one thing that people might be surprised to learn about you guys?
Oh,
Well, we own a gold mine in Alaska.
Oh, there you go.
We're gonna do that.
Gold mine in Alaska?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. We do own part of a gold mine in Alaska.
All
It's a
right.
recreational mine, but it's actually from Tanice's family because Tanice grew up in
Awesome.
Anchorage. So
Yeah.
we own that, and what else do we do? I do paranormal investigation.
Oh, yeah. Paranormal investigations.
Yeah.
He walks in with suitcases.
My daughter and I are paranormal investigators, so we go around the country and do research on that. So
Yeah.
something most
Keep them away from me.
most people didn't know that about us. So
So just some fun things we go and do.
Yeah. Now you guys are moving up on the list of the interesting guests I have interviewed.
yeah, that's different, isn't it?
I can't say anyone has done that before. Own a gold mine and do paranormal activity.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, lastly, how does the audience get in touch with you?
Oh, okay. That's a great
That's a
question.
good
So,
question for you.
Paul and Tanice Myers. Let's think here. You can look me up on Facebook or LinkedIn. There's not a lot of Tanices out there. It's T as in Tom, A, N as in Nancy, I-C-E. Last name is Myers, M-Y-E-R-S. On the email, you got tanice.myers@homevestors.com. For Paul, it's
Paul.myers@homevestors.com. Yep.
And you want a phone number?
Yeah, my phone number is 208-699-7206.
Or you got me at the 208-699-4072.
There we go. Hey, if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and share this with a friend or a colleague who needs some real estate inspiration. And be sure to subscribe to the Real Estate Ballers for more real estate investing content like this and other exciting topics. Thanks for joining and see you in the next video.